Welcome to the Get Productive podcast. I am Detola, your host and productivity coach. Join me as we explore powerful tips and proven strategies to boost your productivity. Welcome back to the Get Productive with Detola podcast, your one-stop shop for practical productivity wisdom. On this podcast, we show you how to embrace the flourishing, productive life you deserve. This is episode 13. Welcome. If you are new to the Get Productive with Detola podcast, I'm so excited to see you here. I'm glad that you stopped by and I hope you stick around. So that you don't miss any episodes, please go to www.detolaamore.com/podcast and subscribe now. I will add these details to the show notes. If you are a returning listener, I appreciate you for coming back. If you've already listened to a few episodes, can I please ask you to consider rating, the podcast on your preferred podcast platform, such as Spotify or Apple Podcasts. A 5-star rating and a review will be highly appreciated. Your support will help reach more people and spread valuable content worldwide. Also, I will be grateful if you could recommend the podcast to at least 2 individuals who you believe will find it beneficial. Because the more people who listen, the more productive our community will become. Over the past 3 episodes, we looked at the impact of grief on productivity. The feedback has been great, and I would like to encourage you to listen to these episodes if you haven't already. So that will be episodes 10, 11, and 12. And then also check out our grief awareness training programs if you want to understand more on how you can create a grief aware and a grief sensitive environment in your organization. In this episode, we are embarking on a journey of exploring how to optimize our work day. So while we've previously discussed to-do lists, time blocking, and the significance of purpose, I would like us now to shift our focus to transforming tasks into tangible outcomes and making the best out of every hour. The truth is, we all have 24 hours in a day, but it feels like some people achieve so much more, and we wonder, do they have extra hours that we know nothing about? And what is their secret? Well, I can tell you it's not that they have some superhuman abilities. It's really about them understanding their personal productivity rhythm and maximizing their time. We've also had those days where the clock seems to fly by, yet we've barely scratched the surface of our to-do list. But what if I told you there's a way to reclaim those lost hours and boost your productivity? Well, today we're going to explore some key strategies to help us to make the most out of our work day. First off is something I've already covered in a few episodes. It's using a to-do list and scheduling your priorities. Like I said, I've covered these topics in a lot of detail in episodes 4 and 5. So I'm not going to say a lot about that on this episode. But what I would say is go listen to those episodes, episode 4 and 5, if you haven't already. Note down your daily tasks by writing them out. This simple act can make your tasks seem less overwhelming and help you clarify and determine which ones need to be worked on first, based on their priority. And this will help you to make the most of your time. The next strategy is you need to know your most productive hours if you want to optimize your day. Now, in the Maximize Time course that I run, I highlight the importance of identifying and leveraging your most productive hours of the day. In my past life, during my day job, many years ago, I discovered that my prime time for productivity was usually between 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. when I was in the office. And I made sure to prioritize working on my critical tasks during this time and avoided distractions such as checking emails or social media to maintain focus. After 12 noon, I would notice that, I was beginning to feel hungry and my mental energy levels would naturally decline, making it challenging for me to engage in complex mental work. The post-lunch period often left me feeling a bit lethargic, hindering my ability to perform demanding cognitive tasks. So during this time, what I found was that I was able to manage to focus on less mentally challenging activities. Now, as an entrepreneur, I've identified still that my most productive hours of the day are the early hours of the morning. So the top of the day. I usually begin each day at 5 a.m. with a routine of prayer, meditation, reading, and planning my day. After ensuring the kids are ready and off to school, I dedicate 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. to focus on my crucial tasks, making sure that I minimize distractions. The afternoon hours are usually reserved for meetings or client calls, but I may occasionally schedule client calls at 11:30. However, so that's 11:30 a.m. However, I ensure that I allocate specific time blocks to maintain focus on my work. So it is very essential for both career professionals, business owners to find what works best for their daily workflow. So find what works best for you. And then one thing we can apply is the 80-20 rule, also known as the Pareto principle. We can apply this to our workday. And how do you do this? By focusing on the 20% of your tasks that yield 80% of results. Okay, that means focus on the critical activities, the 20%, during your peak hours, and you find that you achieve more with less effort. When I focus on doing my work during my productive hours, I find that I do a whole lot more during that time than me trying to do my critical work in the afternoon when I'm tired. So that's what I mean by applying the 80-20 rule. The next thing you want to be checking or asking yourself is, are you a morning person or a night person? To optimize your workday, it's crucial to recognize your body's natural rhythm and chronotype, which is linked to the earlier point I made about identifying your most productive hours. Are you at your best early in the morning or late at night? By identifying, where you fall into, it would allow you to schedule your critical tasks accordingly. Nursing these peak productivity hours can have a significant impact on your outputs. Research has shown that individuals who align their work activities with their peak energy periods experience a notably increase in their productivity. Now, it's not just merely a matter of being a morning person or a night owl, but it's really more about recognizing your unique patterns. So you might need to experiment and observe yourself to identify your personal peak productive windows. So you need to do a bit more of awareness and observation of yourself. And then go ahead and embrace your natural rhythm so that you are working smarter, not just harder. The next point is you want to focus on one task at a time. Multitasking might seem like a superpower, but it's often a productivity killer. And I went into this whole topic in episode 9. That topic was dedicated to multitasking, so go check it out if you haven't already. The thing is, our brains are wired for focus, not juggling multiple tasks simultaneously. By dedicating undivided attention to one task at a time, single tasking, remember that word from episode 9, you'll find that you complete that task faster and with a higher quality. The next strategy is rest. Taking breaks and resting can help you make the most of your time. I once read somewhere that the human body is designed for 2 rejuvenation periods: a short nap during the day and a longer sleep at night. Resting revitalizes your energy, making you more productive during your working hours. I advocate for organizations to provide dedicated rest areas where employees can take short naps at work. If your workplace lacks such a facility, or maybe you work for yourself, consider creating your own resting space. If you commute by car to work, you can take a power nap in your vehicle if you need one. Now, resting, I know, may sound or seem counterintuitive, but it actually generates more energy for you. It allows you to get the most out of your work day. So make time to rest today and experience the benefits for yourself. My last strategy for today is for people of faith like myself, and this is connecting with God. If you're a person of faith, incorporating spiritual practices into your morning routine can be a game changer. This could include meditation, prayer, reading your Bible, or even journaling. I alluded to this earlier as part of my own morning routine. Engaging in spiritual activities can bring clarity, focus, and a sense of purpose to your day. Many successful individuals attribute their productivity to a strong spiritual foundation. So starting your day with God can be a powerful way to set the tone for a productive and meaningful day. So to wrap up this episode, I want to encourage you to do the following. For a week, track your activities and energy levels throughout the day. Use this to identify your peak productive hours. I also want to encourage you to focus on the 20% of tasks that yield 80% of results. Identify and eliminate time-wasting activities that don't contribute significantly to your goals. Commit to single tasking and not multitasking during your focused work blocks. So remember time boxing? Make sure you focus on just one task in your time blocks. And lastly, schedule short breaks throughout your day to rest or maybe to take a power nap so that you can recharge. And then aim to sleep for 6 to 9 hours a day. I know people say 7 to 9 hours, but aim for as much as you can get. Try and, I want to encourage you to sleep a bit longer. Now, while there are other important factors that can contribute to optimizing your workday, I have chosen to emphasize on the points I made specifically because they represent common aspects that tend to be neglected. So feel free to go over this episode again to really allow those points and strategies to sink in. So I'd love to know, what are your peak productive hours? Feel free to share in the comments on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube, or feel free to email me to let me know how you found this episode. And my email is hello@detolaamore.com. I'll add that to the show notes. Now, I want you to remember as we wrap up, optimizing your workday isn't about squeezing every minute, but about working smarter. It's about understanding your body, your mind, and your work style, and aligning your actions accordingly. So until next time, stay productive and stay blessed. Thank you for joining me on this episode of the Get Productive podcast. Till next time, stay blessed.